Sairam, Brother Kiran.
You beautifully titled today's sharing focused on Swami as your Guru, Guide, and God. If we let Swami take these roles in our life, it is total surrender to Him. These are such important attributes that we should spend time on each one of them separately. I would like to start off by asking you about how Swami became your Guru, first in the direct way of going to his college, but then also through the important life lessons in a spiritual way.
Offering my humble and loving pranams at the lotus feet of my most beloved Swami, who is my Guru, my guide, and my God. Loving Sairams and greetings to all revered elders, brothers, sisters, and dear children. Thank you so much, Brother Kiran, for this beautiful opportunity and for this question. You started off with a beautiful quote of Bhagawan, that he assures us that God is everything. Swami is my everything. Whatever I am, wherever I am, it is all because of him. I believe that he is in command and control of everything, every aspects of our lives. He knows our past, our present, and the future. Yet, in this vastness that he is, he has given us this beautiful opportunity to experience our personal relationship with him when he came in this form as Sathya Sai. And we have our individual journey with him. So to address the question that you asked, I thought I would very briefly share how I came to Anantapur campus and how my journey started with Bhagawan. So my journey started when I was in my 12th grade. A friend of mine one day just casually came and handed me a packet that included the brochure and the application for the Sathya Sai College. And I was totally new to the Sathya Sai institutions at that time. My parents were also very new to Swami. We had not heard about Swami very much at that point of time. This is in the year 2000 when I was in my 12th grade. And I was a science major. I had been applying to different medical schools because I wanted to pursue medicine. And here comes one more application package of the Sathya Sai University, and I take it. And this friend tells me that she happened to have an extra copy, so asked if I were interested. So I said, well, one more addition to the list of my colleges. So I took the application packet and went through it and was quite interested. But there was a problem. There were no medical courses offered in the Anantapur campus at that point of time. And but there were some science streams. So I went ahead and applied in the science stream for BZC, for the biosciences. And fortunately, with his grace, my application was accepted. I was invited to write the entrance test. And, as always with Bhagawan, he likes to make our stories dramatic in his own ways and very personal to us. So for me, I should say that the test started at that very moment because the entrance test for the Sathya Sai University coincided with a very important exam that I had been looking forward to, the joint entrance exam, which would give me a good seat in good medical colleges. So it coincided with the same date. So my test started right there and then. But there was a divine pull towards this, and somehow I went. I convinced my father. They were also very, they were quite interested to know more about it. So we came to Puttaparthi. I appeared for the entrance test. I wrote the biosciences exam. and fortunately got through the entrance exam, and then we had to appear for the interview. So I sat through the interview, and I thought I did it very well. And then I had to return immediately because I had to come back and finish some of the practicals back for my 12th grade. So I came back home, and in a couple of days, I received a phone call from a friend, and very happily she gives me the news that I was selected. And but there was a second part to that good news, and she said, "Your name is printed under BA, which is Bachelor of Arts, and not BZC, Bachelor of Sciences." So at that very moment, the news that I was selected to study in Sathya Sai College kind of overwhelmed me, and I didn't give much heed to the other part. I thought it was just a minor problem. Immediately, I thought it was some kind of a printing mistake, some kind of a printing error, because to my mind at that point, it was not logical. How would I, somebody who has written the entrance test for science, appear the interview test for science, where I had not been asked any questions about that, will be admitted to BA? So with that mindset, we got all the preparations done to come and join. My parents were all for it. And we came to Bangalore because that was the year 2000. Swami was conducting the summer courses in Indian culture and spirituality. So we came to Vrindavan, and my father accompanied me. And there is this reminder at the back of my mind that I have to go and get myself correct, fix this error that has been there. So I get admitted, and I go to the registration the next day, and I tell them that, "Madam, I am a science student. I am a BZC student. There seems to be some mistake. My name is printed under BA. Would you kindly please look through this?" And they smiled, they looked at me, they did go through the list and verified that my name was under BA. And what they told me kind of took me by surprise. They said that this list has been approved and has been verified by Bhagawan himself. He has checked it and has handed over to us. So there could not be any mistakes. It has been approved by Bhagawan. That was, I think, the biggest surprise, kind of a shock that I had, because I was not prepared to hear that. I came with the mindset that, okay, this was a printing error. It could be sorted out and I'm back in the science stream. But that did not happen. And things went on. This became quite a problem to me. I went to the head of the department. I went to the principal with this problem of mine, but a consistent response I received was, "This is will of Bhagawan. You have been put under BA." And, I had come there as a clean slate, as a blank slate. I had no background about how the Sathya Sai University functions, or in fact, in that matter, who Bhagawan was. I was not aware of his divinity. I had come very new, and I did not know about how would I, sort this problem out. And my the professors, the teachers there advised me that, this is the summer course and Swami is all the time giving his time to the students. So you have a wonderful opportunity to ask Bhagawan personally and, get the clarification from him. It was a wonderful idea, but to me, it didn't look feasible because I was a newcomer, a freshman there. I didn't know how things worked, and I didn't have that courage to stand up and speak up and, ask Swami. And again, a very good advice came along from my seniors and some teachers that, how about if I write a letter and mention this to Swami? So that was doable. So I wrote a letter in all my sincerity, in all my innocence and ignorance, I must say, because I did say in the letter that, "Swami, I am a science student, but by mistake, my name has been printed under BA. So only you can help me out with this." So I wrote that letter and I carried that letter every day. And this scenario had become quite popular in the college. Everybody knew about it. And, they would give me an opportunity to sit in the front row and offer this letter. But you won't believe it. Somehow or the other, I could not give this letter to Bhagawan. Swami would not take this letter. And we were almost coming to the end of the summer course. By then, I had developed a deep love for the college, the system there. I wanted to stay back, but not taking BA. I wanted to do my science. I wanted to go back to my science stream, and I wanted to study there, but it was not happening. So I had kind of, started losing hope that this is not going to happen. I have to go back. Then towards the end, almost the last day, Swami was very gracious to bless the Anandapur students with a lunch session, and everybody were excited. Swami had blessed us with saris the day before, and he had asked us to wear those saris and come for lunch. And it was a beautiful, the whole environment in the hostel, the dormitory were full of excitement. Everybody were so happy and jubilant that we are going to have lunch with Swami. So everybody was ready, but I think that was the point I had started to totally break down. I used to cry a lot. I cried a lot, and I thought, this is it. Either I go back. And by then, my father had actually already returned because his tickets were booked, so he was back already. So I was left there all by myself. And so the particular day, lunch session, everybody is ready and nicely decked up and was gone. Whereas me sitting there in the dormitory and crying my heart out, saying that, Swami, this is the last opportunity. What would I do from here? So I cried, and I remember being so late, to go for lunch, and I was, rushed in the end. So somehow we managed, and I went to the hall. And then I realized that, I had forgotten the letter. I had, in that rush, I had left the letter somewhere. I had forgotten the letter. So that moment was a moment I still remember feeling, that I really don't belong here. I didn't know what to do. So I just sat there and sobbed and sobbed. Swami was coming to the hall. He was, blessing all the girls. He is taking their letters and, talking with the students, interacting with the students. Such a beautiful moment. And I was missing on all those. And I was just crying. And, there was some kind of a silence, and I was in my own world. Suddenly, my sister next to me nudged me and said, Swami is coming here. And as I looked, I had my hands cupped, and I was crying as I looked at Swami, was really coming next to me where I was sitting. And then I didn't have the letter. I had nothing to say. I was just staring at him with my hands folded like this, and my tears rolling down my cheeks, looking quite miserable. Swami came so beautifully, and he looked at me deeply, straight. He looked. And, we were sitting down with his hands. He was blessing everybody. He nudged my hand. My hands were folded like this. He gave a kind of tight nudge to kind of these things. And then he slowly walked by. He didn't speak anything. I didn't speak anything. There were no words exchanged. I could not ask my question. But, it was that silence and that look that he gave me that kind of pierced my being. It was a look that said, like, I know everything. I know what's going on. So that was it. It ended there, and we went back to Anandapur. And I stayed on. I accepted studying BA. And to tell you the truth, it was not easy. It was, an entirely different course, the track that I was taking. There were times that I would go to the biology lab and cry my hearts out and then come back. I had to take subjects that I had not thought of, like philosophy and economics. But then with all these, there was this subtle kind of transformation that was taking place. I could feel the love that was growing in my heart towards Bhagawan. And, I started enjoying my being there. I started enjoying everything. And even my parents were not happy with what had happened. And my father came to take me back in between. But when God's will prevails, nothing can stop. He went back, and I stayed on. That's how I began to accept that it was willed by God. This was best for me. Quite unknowingly, I had surrendered to that will. And I made a choice to be with him and take BA and stay with Bhagawan. That's how my initial journey to the college started.
As you said, every experience with Swami is so highly personalized, and he makes sure that it stays with us and that there's a life lesson in there for each one of us. And I think when you decided that being in Swami's college was the most important thing, it really shows your love for Swami and the supreme faith that you had in him. I think it was an early test, and not many would have come out in flying colors like you did. We work hard to plan for every little detail in our future, not realizing that submitting to his will is actually the easiest path that Swami has laid out for us. So with the BA stream, how do you think going with the BA stream influenced later events in your life?
Thank you, Brother Kiran, for this question. It's again, it was truly a divine plan. Because taking BA, I had the opportunity to stay back for the master's degree, MA, which at that point would not have been possible if I was in the science stream. So I'm talking about almost 2 decades back, when there were not many master's programs offered in the Anandpur campus. We had a master's program for English language and literature and home science. So because I was in BA, I had those another wonderful years of staying back for my master's, MA. And, the best thing I would say that happened to me during my stay in the entire Anantapur life was my selection in the band, the Anantapur Women's Brass Band. I'm sure all of you must have heard and seen the Women's Brass Band. So I was selected since my first year, and I had a beautiful opportunity to perform in front of Bhagawan in during different occasions. And during my master's final years, I was blessed to be the band leader and conductor. And in that capacity, I had many opportunities to interact with Swami and perform in different occasions. So I really am grateful that, I made that choice. And again, I don't say it's I who made that choice. It was willed by Bhagawan. But I am grateful that, I had that acceptance, and to surrender to the will and stay on and experience those beautiful, beautiful golden years.
You mentioned the brass band, and I think it's a beautiful sight that no one can miss. The sight of Swami following the brass band and the sounds, and it's a beautiful sight for the eyes when Swami is marching out to, or along with the band for all the special occasions, as you mentioned. Then we just talked about Swami as Guru. When Swami is directly in front of you, asking you to carry out tasks, it is, I would say, somewhat easy to identify him in that role in our lives, because he's there and he's giving out instructions either directly or through your teachers. However, when you step away from his physical presence, how did Swami continue to guide you? How did you associate yourself in Swami's work after your graduation from Swami's college?
So as you said, Brother Kiran, Swami is constantly guiding us wherever we are. He's our constant guide. He's my constant guide. So immediately after I completed my master's degree, I was blessed with this golden opportunity to serve in Sathya Sai School, Prashanti Vidya Mandir, in the state of Sikkim. I had just gone home, and a senior member of the school management board visited me with this invitation to come and serve as a principal. And there was a slight hesitation in the beginning because I felt I was not ready. And the other reason was the school was in a different state. I come from Kalimpong, which is a small town in the district of Darjeeling in the state of West Bengal. And this Sathya Sai school is located in Gangtok, in the state of Sikkim. So which meant that I had to be away from home again. So these were little hesitations, all my personal thoughts, and there was this hesitation. But again, as I said in the beginning, there's a master plan. When God plans it, there's nothing that can stop. So I joined the school. I found myself in the school in June. I joined the school, and it was a boarding school, and half the children lived in the school, and some of them nearby students traveled by bus. So I had this beautiful opportunity to live in the hostel with the students. So in a way, it was like my Anantapur experience, being away from home, living with the students, I mean. So once again, I was away from home. My parents were very kind to let me, be with Bhagawan and let me serve in the school. So they let me go. And it was a beautiful school. There were grades from nursery till the 8th grade at that point of time when I joined. And, meeting those innocent children, meeting those students, I must say, it was one of the best enriching experience of my life. Children were so innocent, we would spend hours all the time in talking about Swami. They always wanted to hear more about Swami. And, they made me feel so loved. They made me feel so welcomed. The teachers, the staff, the members of the management, everybody made me feel so welcomed. And in my heart of hearts, I felt so much gratitude. As Swami says, with Sai, we are heroes. Without him, we are zeros. It was exactly what was happening because I came from Swami's school, from Swami's college, all that love. And, when I went to the school, I began to address the students as Swami's angels, because that was how we are called when we are in Anantapur. We actually said that, yes, Swami's angels. So I used to tell them always that, Swami's angels, you are, Bhagawan loves you all so much. And I got to know that children had not been to Puttaparthi. Even most of the teachers had not had Bhagawan's darshan. So a kind of a, wish started to develop, that I started praying to Swami that, Swami, I wish we could, bring all these children for your darshan. And, one little incident happened, which really struck chord with me and intensified my prayer. Maybe I can quickly share that here. So it was it was a 3rd grade classroom. One day, one of the teacher was on leave. So I had to go in proxy, and I was, for that to take the class. And typically how in India is when the teacher leaves, then other teacher goes in. So there's this moment of 1 hour, few seconds of, the exchange between the teachers. So during that time, as soon as other teacher left, these kids started making noise. They started discussing something so loudly. And so I waited for some time, and then, they were all talking so loudly, discussing something. So I walked inside and I asked them, what is this discussion about? What are you all talking about? There was this pin drop silence. Everybody is so silent. And suddenly this one boy tells me that, ma'am, this boy Adarsh is saying that you will go to heaven when you die. And then everybody is giggling, and some of them are, laughing. I was quite taken aback by that statement. In my mind, I thought, oh my God, these kids are talking about me dying, But then they said, you will go to heaven when you die. And it really made me think. And I asked that, Adarsh, why did you think so? And, then everybody were very quiet and everybody was silent. And, we had a little conversation, and then the class went on. But this statement really made an impact in me. It was a perspective of a little child, of a little boy who has not seen Bhagawan, who has heard about Bhagawan, who has seen pictures of Bhagawan, who knows how Swami is, but who has not been with Bhagawan, who has not had a direct experience with Bhagawan. And he had that. His perspective was that, if you have had this darshan of Bhagawan, your life is sanctified. It was such a profound statement. It kept me thinking. Even now, it keeps me thinking. So that really intensified my prayer. I said, Swami, we have to please help us make this happen. We have to bring these children to have your darshan. So that was my intense prayer. Started praying. But again, it was not an easy task to bring little children all the way from Sikkim. It's a long travel, long journey. We had to work out a lot of logistics. But then I prayed to Swami, and we started some conversation with the teachers, and my prayers continued. And this was, I joined the school in June. So sometime in the month of August, we received a letter from the All India President then. And it was an invitation letter inviting the students from the school to participate in the children's festival that was going to be held that year in Puttaparthi on the occasion of Bhagawan's 80th birthday. That was Bhagawan's 80th birthday. And, the letter had said, your children from your school have been selected for an angel dance. And that was highlighted and it was underlined. It was nothing other than Swami's answer to our prayers. We were so happy and everything fell into place. And we had our students participate in that beautiful celebration. The program was titled Festival of Joy. Children from different parts of the country came, and that year even other Balvika students from the Sikkim came, and we brought along about maybe 42 students along with teachers. We came to Puttaparthi, and the students performed in front of Bhagawan. And after the performance, they had a beautiful photograph session with Swami, and Swami interacted with them because they were angels. They had the opportunity to sit in the front, and there were nice interactions with Swami. And after the program, I was not in the front. There was some other teacher in the front. I was sitting at the back. And after the program ended, all these angels, these little kids, they come to me with so much joy in their eyes, so much joy in their hearts, almost crying. Said, Swami, ma'am, Swami asked us this. Swami asked us, where are we from? And we said, Swami, we are from Prashanta Vidya Mandir. So, in looking back, it's all, he is the doer after all. And this experience for the students, it was a lifetime experience for them to be able to perform in front of Swami. And an angel dance. So to me, it was my sincere prayers answered, not only mine, prayers of all the teachers, the hard work of all the teachers. Swami says, you take one step towards me, I'll take hundreds towards you. So we put in our effort. When we put in our good intentions and leave the outcome to Swami with no expectations, we leave it to Bhagawan. He makes it happen. He makes sure that he makes sure that it is done. And Swami was, he said at that point of time, Swami was physically away from us, but he heard our prayers. That's what I believe, that wherever we are, he has said, wherever you are, I'll always be there with you. Whatever you do, think that it is Swami's work. He has given all these practical tips that we can take along with us and practice in our day-to-day lives and feel his presence wherever we are, whatever we do. So that was one experience I thought I will share about the Kiran.
Thank you, sister, for that. In particular, when you said, what others said really struck a chord. I can say that, he's young in age, but spoke such wise words. Because Swami mentioned so many times that it is our good deeds over several lifetimes that has earned us the grace of knowing him and being in his physical presence. But we do not fully realize the blessing that's bestowed upon us. I think takes a blessed soul like Adarsh in our lives to remind us of good fortune. But I should come back to one thing about your experience at Prashanti Vidya Mandir. Still curious about how you got introduced to the school as a principal, especially right after your graduation, without much of an experience in this kind of a role.
This is a very interesting question, Brother Kiran. People have asked me this, and I have just one answer. Some things are beyond our thinking, beyond our comprehension, and beyond our planning. It was a master plan. That's what I can say. It was a master plan. It was planned by the divine. And also there are many experiences, many incidents that, helped me understand that this was a divine plan. There are little dots that I connected in the end that made me realize that, oh yes, this was a master plan. Maybe I can share one quick incident that happened towards the end of my stay. So it was the time I was to graduate after my master's degree and come out of the institute as a student. So I had been praying to Swami to guide me what I would do next, what I should do next. And at that point of time, some of us were very interested to come back to continue our studies and do MPhil and PhD. So we were trying for that, but things were not moving very fast due to certain circumstances. So I was really praying to Swami, what next? Please guide me and help me wherever I go. And I had these intense prayers. And once occasion during the sports meet, we had so lovingly made a bouquet for Swami, bouquet of roses. And those were paper roses. And the idea behind that was, that each rose will represent each band girl. And, together we'll make into a nice big bouquet and we'll offer it to Swami. And why paper roses? Because we thought it will not wilt or it will not, die off. And it will be with Bhagawan always there, physically. Sometimes we can be as ignorant as that. So we had prepared that, but with so much love. Everyone had put in their best efforts to make that rose. And we had made a beautiful bouquet. So in the morning of the sports meet, we went to offer that bouquet in front of Bhagwan's residence, and two senior band students had the opportunity to offer that bouquet. And as a band leader, I accompanied them, and we went to Bhagwan and we offered the bouquet, and we asked for his blessings and received his blessings. And then somebody had offered a rose to Bhagwan. He pulled that rose and he put that rose in my hand and tapped it like, take. He said, take. It was so clear in my eyes. I was just next to Swami. He said, take. And so I took the rose and we came back and then we performed. But the experience ended there. It was just a little experience. Of course, it was a beautiful moment with Bhagwan at that point. But then later when I, ponder on this, even today I get messages. Every time I think of this, I ruminate on this beautiful experience when Bhagawan telling me, take. And one day was that, I think that I had been praying for Swami's grace. I had been praying for Swami's blessings. So he had told me that, I have your blessings, I have your grace, take. And whatever opportunity may come, take it. So as I'd said in the beginning, when this offer came to me to serve in the school as a principal, there was a slight hesitation, which I felt was quite natural because I had just graduated from the college. And, there were a lot of things that I had to discuss with my parents, being away from home and all that. But then, gradually it dawned on me that, Swami had blessed me by saying, take. So I also connected to that, saying, this is an opportunity that Swami is giving it to me. It's Swami's school, it's Sathya Sai school. The Sathya Sai school was also started by the direct command of Bhagawan. The founder principal, Madam, was an immensely blessed soul. So Bhagawan had directly guided her to start the school. So that's how I, connected the dots, and I said, this is Swami's grace. And I went again there. And even today, I say that it was not me who did whatever had to be done, the responsibilities there with the management, the administration. It was Swami who worked through me. Without him, I would not have been able to do It was Bhagawan. It was him who was working through me constantly. He was with me all the time. There were so many experiences, so many incidences in the school that I had that, proved to me that he was with me all the time. He was guiding my hand. The unseen hand was always there. He was the doer. That's what I say. I was not the doer. In this context, I was thinking of this quote that Abraham Lincoln said, "Without divine assistance, I cannot succeed. With it, I cannot fail." So I reiterate on that because it was the divine grace, it was the divine assistance that helped me to experience this most beautiful and enriching experience that I was blessed with.
Indeed, as you said, he is the doer, and we are all zeros without him, and he's the one that makes us all look like heroes. There's always a divine playing act with him. That's one thing we can be sure about with Swami. Now I'd like to move to the present and touch upon the third aspect of the title today, Swami as omnipresent God. How do you experience Swami in day-to-day life and stay connected with him?
I always feel Swami is always with me. And that's what I believe in. Swami is always with me here and now. This faith is strengthened by my experience of being in the Anantapur campus. Although we were near Swami, but we were physically also away from Swami. And one lesson that I've always carried is that to believe that he's always, always, always with us. Although he was in that physical form, he was not confined to that form. He was available to us wherever he was, even in that form. And ever more so now. Wherever we are, whatever we do, we just have to call unto him from our hearts, tuned to him, and he will always answer. I remember this interaction that I had with Mrs. Phyllis Crystal once. She shared, and very ardent devotee of Swami, she shared that once, she was in Puttaparthi and she asked Bhagawan, she told Swami that, Swami, because of my age and certain things, I may not be able to come to have your darshan often. And you know what Swami told her? You don't have to always be here. Find my counterpart in your heart. So I always think of that. And Swami has assured us that wherever we are, he's always with us. And his relationship with Bhagawan and our relationship with Bhagawan is so unique. That's one thing I really cherish, that he's the divine, the vastness that we can ever understand, that we know of, but yet he gives us this special, experiences, that special lessons that is catered to our understanding, that is catered to our needs. Maybe I can, Brother Kiran, if we have a little time, I can quickly share one experience that relates.
Yeah, we do have time, and we're really looking forward to the experience that you share about how you find Swami in day-to-day life.
I'm sure everybody has their own instances where Swami shows his presence, where Swami shows his assurance of being with them at all times. And I do want to share these two little incidences that happened after his leaving the physical form. And one was when we were in a trip to Australia to visit our family friend. So we were traveling from Sydney to Canberra, to the capital city, and it was the Christmas Eve. And we were two families with 3 children altogether. And we traveled by road. And, we had planned to stop by in between, kind of a relax, because we were traveling with children, and then reach Canberra, which we thought would be kind of a little like a bustling city, because it's Christmas time. So we started early, we stopped by, we did, all fun things in between. And then as we were nearing Canberra. It started getting a little dark, and we had booked our hotels. Everything was planned, but we had not planned for our dinner. We had not planned for food, because we thought that it's a city and we could find anything. We can just grab whatever comes across. So we, as we drove by, it started getting a little dark, and by the time we reached the city, it was almost around 8. And so our first goal was to go and get some food and feed the children, and then we go to the hotel. So we started looking for food, and to our utter surprise, the city didn't look like how we had thought to be at that point of time. And we, living in New York, having known how the city is during the holiday season, I had that in my mind, thinking that, we can enjoy the lights, we can have fun. But it looked a little different. It was quiet and it looked quite secluded. And, food became quite an issue because we did not find anything around. And then we were desperate to get something because we wanted to feed the kids at least. And we started going round and round. And in the end, we saw some, conversation happening in one place. So we drove by, and then we see it's an Indian restaurant. So we were so happy, so happy that we parked, and my husband and his friend quickly went there to get the food. And by then, the children were very hungry. The kids were very hungry. So me and my friend, we were with the children, consoling them, telling them, Papa will get some food. Maybe he'll get some nice palak paneer or nice whatever you like. What is your favorite? Kind of entertaining them with all these foodie ideas, waiting for the dads to return. And they did take a good 12 to 15 minutes. And then after the 12 to 15 minutes, they come back, but empty hand. They didn't bring food. And they told us that they were standing in the line all this while. And by the time their turn came, they said, "We are sorry, sir, the kitchen has closed." So they made a request saying that, please give us whatever is there, even if it's a small quantity, we just want to give the kids. And they were really sorry. They said, "We are really sorry. Everything is wiped off." So that was the story, that they came back. And when they came back, I think that was the time, like a silence fell amongst all of us. We went, connected to that inner sai, and we said, "Swami, why did we have to go through this? At least for the children, please, please." And I remember all of us literally saying this prayer, "Give us this day our daily bread." We literally say that prayer, and we prayed because food became the priority at that point of time, even if not for us, but for the kids. And then my husband's friend makes a phone call to a friend who supposedly was working at Canberra but had gone away for the holidays. So he tells him that during the holiday time, it's very quiet, and everybody goes away, and food is difficult to get. But he says that, if you drive another 20 minutes, 25 minutes or so, there may be a fast food called Hungry Jack. So if you want to go and try it. As soon as we hear that, the distance didn't matter, we said, okay, we have to go and try. So we drove about 25 minutes, and we reached this Hungry Jack. And luckily it was open, and my husband and his friend go in, and they were serving they were serving food. So they ordered their food, and then after some time, we are still in the car. After some time, they come back with broad smiles, with food in their hand, and their smile, like big, broad smile. And then me and my friend, we are, just talking to ourselves, look at them. They are so happy at the sight of food. Like, imagine these kids. So they come and they give us the food, and they say, "Take this. Swami has given us this food. Swami has given." So we are like, "Oh, yes, we know this. Swami has given us this food. Well, Swami has given us this food." But they say, like, "Really, this is Swami who has given us this food." And apparently what happened was that, the person, so they placed order, and then they waited for the food. So when the order was ready, the person who called and who literally handed them the packet with the food, that person's name was Sai. So that was the story behind that.
Indeed. This is it's interesting. Swami puts us through this, and then eventually, he shows that spark that okay, they just have to look for me in the right place, and I'm there. I think we do have a little bit more time, and when we talked about the other incident earlier, when you talked about the red tomato coming down the river, I would really like you to talk about that, but because I think.
Sure. These are all these indications and assurance that he's always there. As you said, in whatever, he may not just appear in himself, but he appears in different forms and in different aspects. So this is another, I thought we'll share this, another incident that happened quite recently during the COVID time in the summer of 2020. So we had not been anywhere at all. And in the mid of summer, we decided we would go and visit a friend upstate New York. So we made a trip. And she's also a wonderful Swami's devotee. So when we went there, there was this new family who had come also to visit along with my friend. So she was quite new. She was actually very new to Swami. She had just heard about Bhagawan. And, she was very interested to know about Swami, who Swami was and what was his teachings and philosophy. So, we started getting into this conversations about Swami all day, all the time. We were there for about 2 or 3 days. So every day, whenever we met, we would talk about Swami. And I also had the SSC manual with me at that point of time. So she was very curious. She went through the SSC manual and we talked about the education in human values program and all that. And so one afternoon, it was a nice, warm, sunny day. So we decided we should go to a river. It's a beautiful place in the countryside. So upstate New York. So we went to a river side, and the weather was so pleasant. And my little daughter, my husband, other friends, they all wanted to play in the water. So they were all playing in the water. And I didn't want to go in the water. So I just had my feet dipped in the water. And this new friend who was new to Swami, she also wanted to stand with me and, continue with our discussion on Swami. I said, okay. So we started talking about nutrition. So she had this question she had asked me by then almost all the questions about, what does Swami say about children and, so many things, education. And so she was asking me what Swami says about nutrition. And, we were discussing, and I was telling her, what Swami says about food, what are the impurities that goes into while cooking the food, what are the 3 kinds of things that we should keep in mind, the vessel, the person who's cooking it, and the content of the food, all those things. And then we spent quite a time talking about, all these food-related things. And I also mentioned to her about how Swami says, Swami mentioned about the seeds of the tomatoes, which are not good for health, and all those things. And we were so deep engrossed in this discussion about food and Swami. Suddenly our, attention turns towards the river. And, the landscape was beautiful. There's 2 rivers flowing from 2 sides. And it's not like a rough river. It's a flowing, slow flowing river. Suddenly we see something red coming from one side of the river. And the water is clean. The water looks crystal clean. Red thing comes dancing right in front of us and sways around, and it goes by. And guess what was that? It was a red tomato. And we were both just stuck there, and we were wondering what does this happen? And we kept looking all around, thinking, where did this come from? Or are there more tomatoes going to come? Are there more fruits going to come? But that was it. It's a very clean place. And in this clean water, as we were talking about food, nutrition, all this one tomato comes, floating by. And I just thought, what are the odds when all these things happen? What are the odds of such a thing happening at that specific moment when need it? And more than me, this particular incident experience, resonated with the friend, the new person who was, who was very curious about Swami and how he shows his omnipresence, how he shows his assurance that he's always there, that he's always, listening to us, listening to our conversations. He's always, so I was very grateful for this experience. And, even in our day-to-day lives, we come across so many other little situations, little scenarios where he shows his presence, that he's always with us. He's always with us. And he is always with us. That is what I believe.